Congratulations, you have an opportunity for a new client, but you're not sure how to put that proposal together. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to write a proposal for consulting services. If you hate writing proposals, you are not alone. A lot of consultants, leadership coaches, and other experts find the process of writing proposals to be time-consuming and overwhelming. The great news is it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to make it a lot easier on yourself. I'm going to walk you through an exact template that you can use to put together a proposal simply and easily. And before we wrap up, I'm going to share with you what you can leave out of your proposals that's going to save you a lot of time and actually increase your chances of getting to a yes. All right, so let's dive in. First and foremost, before you start writing a proposal, you want to make your life easy. And the way you make your life easy is by getting everything that you need from your potential client before you start putting pen to paper. A lot of consultants get overwhelmed with the proposal writing process because they only get a portion of information from their prospective client, and then they have to go back to their computer and start making guesses. That's not good for you, but it's even worse for your prospective client. If they're going to invest time and money and resources into a program, an initiative, an engagement in working with you, you want to make sure they're really building the right ladder against the right wall. So before you're even putting together a proposal, make sure you're having that co-creation meeting with the client, really designing the solution with your client. Once you do that, now all you have to do is put those details into a very simple format in order to present it to them. And as you're going to see, we're going to do this in a PowerPoint presentation. You don't have to use PowerPoint. You can use Google Slides, you can use Keynote, or any other type of slide tool that you like. What you don't want to do is write a college essay. You don't want to put this into a Word document. You're going to end up writing a lot of very long paragraphs that nobody wants to read and nobody has time to read. So we're going to simplify this down and only give the clients the information they actually need, and do this in a way that's going to have them look at it right away versus feeling like, oh man, I don't feel like reviewing that today. I'm just going to put that off until tomorrow. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at this very simple template. As I mentioned, we're going to do this in PowerPoint, but you can use Google Slides or Keynote if you prefer. Your very first slide is very simple. You're just going to have it prepared for your client name and what the project name is, and then also, of course, include your company name, logo, and the date along with your company's website. On the next slide, you want to recap the opportunity. Very simply describe what the end result could be for the client with the right solution. What's the big vision? What's their untapped opportunity? Here's a pro tip. Don't waste time at this point describing the prospect's current situation or stating back to them everything that they told you in your last meeting. It's a waste of their time as much as your time. They know what their current starting point is, and there's no reason for you to recap that back to them. On your next slide, you want to summarize the 3 specific goals of the initiative. Make sure for each one of these 3 goals that you're starting with an active verb. And I give you an example here for goal number 3. In this case, the goal might be to reduce the percentage of employee attrition or turnover among top performers by as much as 25% in the next 12 to 18 months. And notice we're not just starting with an active verb, but we're also being specific in terms of a measurable goal at the end of this engagement. Here's some examples of active verbs you might want to consider using. Things like increase, grow, expand, accelerate, boost, upgrade, raise, improve, decrease, shrink, reduce, minimize, eliminate, shorten, cut, or curtail. Obviously, this is just a short list, but just to give you an idea of the types of active verbs, and the more movement that's conveyed in these active verbs, the better for you. Because if companies are going to invest time, energy, and money into working with you, they are looking for something to change. They want to see something that's visibly different at the end of working with you. On the next slide, you want to share some additional outcomes, and think of these in terms of impact overall to the organization. What are some additional benefits that your prospect can expect to see? Typically, there are the primary goals of an initiative, and then there's almost those secondary, those positive side effects that organizations end up getting in their work with you. This is that part of working with you where you often think clients don't realize just how much they're getting in a relationship with us. Maybe the skills of their team, the knowledge transfer that's going to happen. Maybe things will be easier for them on an everyday basis. They'll actually see a difference in their workday. These are things you can capture here in terms of those top impacts. And I give you an example on impact number 3, a thriving positive culture that's reflective of the company's core values and brand promises. On the next slide, and this is one of the most important slides in your proposal, you want to capture succinctly in one slide what is in scope versus what is out of scope. And don't be tempted in the out of scope section to say anything that's not listed here. What you want to put ideally in the out of scope section are any other services, programs, or offerings that you provide to other clients, because you want them to see that you can provide extra value. There's more that you could be doing for them, but at the same time, those are not things that they're just getting as part of this initiative, as part of this proposal and the investment that you're talking about at this stage. So this is really an opportunity for you to not only draw a line between what they are getting versus what they are not getting, it's also an opportunity for you to seed what else you offer that they could eventually choose to take advantage of. But you want to do this on one slide. It should be that succinct. Then in the next few slides, you want to actually get into the meat of what it is that you are providing to your clients. And for each component, each piece, each puzzle piece that you are providing to them, you want that to live on its own slide. We prefer to call these success components because these aren't just things for the sake of checking a box. You're providing these components of the initiative based on what's going to drive the prospect's success. So each success component lives on its own page of the proposal. You're going to give a short title of each of those client deliverables and up to 4 bullet points further describing each of those. So let's say that you are a consultant and the type of work that you do is on advising companies on their productivity, their efficiency, their processes, their systems that they're using. One of the things that you might provide as a success component, first and foremost, is a thorough assessment of what they're currently doing. So success component number 1 might be that discovery phase where you're actually going in and you're doing things like doing a walkabout in their office, you're doing a desk audit or a strategic asset review of what they're already doing. Maybe you're doing a survey or a focus group to try to see what's working and what's not working. That would be an example of your first success component. Now, we recommend that a proposal not have more than 3 to 5 success components. If that's the case, now you're starting to get into multiple phases of a project and you want to start to break out those phases. But in this case, we're going to assume that there's a handful of success components. And here's an example of one on success component number 4. In this case, there's stakeholder interviews with key leaders. And here's what those bullet points might look like underneath. 20 to 30 minute recorded Zoom sessions with up to 8 department heads, expertly crafted questions to ascertain the most essential solution requirements, support in identifying appropriate stakeholders and crafting communiques to secure their support, full transcripts and executive summaries of 60-minute strategic debriefs and a strategic debrief also included. So you can see there just how short and concise we're being in each one of these success components and the descriptions for them. There's nothing that's challenging for the decision maker to read, and they're able to get all the information in just a few minutes. Next, changing gears a little bit, you want to have a slide dedicated to their return on investment. And specifically, you want to share the ROI for similar types of projects and initiatives that you have delivered for other clients. So these aren't just ROI statements pulled out of the air. These are ROI statements when you look back at your track record of success with your other clients. You really want to go back and make sure that you're looking for those best examples where a client worked with you and got a tremendous result. We recommend sharing 3 ROI statements. So in this case, you want to share 3 measurable results that you achieved for other clients. And these can be all one client, or they could be ROI statements from 3 separate clients. And here's a great example for ROI number 3. You created a 200% growth in revenue booked after replacing 50% of sales team with the right fit team members. So it's succinct, it shows movement, it shows growth, and it tells how that happened in a very short way. Next is where you want to share a case study or 2, going a little deeper into what you've done for other organizations. Make sure you insert a result-focused headline. Don't just write case study, mid-market manufacturing company, or case study, fast-growing technology startup. You want to say case study, how a fast-growing technology startup increased efficiency by 10%. And then, very simply, in 3 bullet points, share the situation, the starting point, what the solution was, what you delivered to your client, and ultimately the success that they achieved. We like to think of case studies as starting point, turning point, and outcome. So what is it? The mess, turning point, success is another way to look at that as well. And great news is this is a case study format that you can use well beyond just client proposals. Next, you want to cover the business case to the organization. So that's great. You've shared other clients' ROI, you shared a case study or 2 of what you've done for other organizations to prove that this isn't just something you think you can do, it's something that you've proven that you can do. Now you want to bring it home to the client. What is it that they're going to get truly in terms of their value proposition to their organization? What is some third-party data that you can bring in that's going to show to them that they're going to get some bottom line impact in working with you and your organization? And you can totally utilize third-party data points from other people's research, organizations that have published metrics about why, let's say, reducing employee turnover or improving a company culture or investing in sales training for the sales team every 3 to 6 months is so important. You can pull in those third-party data points right here. Next, you're going to have a simple summary capturing the investment level and the timeline of those investments. So we had laid out those success components earlier. Each of those success components get laid out in column 1. The timeline for those success phases gets laid out in column 2. Then you can go to your investments and then any additional details they need to know about that. But the great thing about this is when things are happening and this is how much those investments are going to be, and it's all done in a simple chart. And then, truly most importantly, in everything we've gone through is outlining the next steps. Should they want to move forward, what does that look like? How do we get from this proposal to you actually having a check in your bank account and getting started working with a client? So think through those next 2, 3, 4 steps. Who's responsible for those steps and what is the timing for that? And for those of you who aren't familiar with the abbreviation NLT, it's no later than. So in this example, that first item is happening no later than Friday, May 28th. The last item is happening no later than Friday, June 11th. So those are your next steps. And other than that, the only thing that you might want to put in at the appendix is if there's any supporting information. If you feel so compelled to share a quick overview of your team, if you feel you want to go a little deeper into the proposed project schedule, show a little bit more about your client list or more of your certifications or your bios, you can do that in the appendix. And of course, don't forget to include your specific contact information. That's all you need to include in a proposal. I promised I would share this with you at the outset of this video. You'll notice one thing that's missing from this proposal template, and that is any long paragraphs, and in most cases, there aren't full sentences. These are simple bullet points and bottom line information. Decision makers today are completely completely overwhelmed with what's on their plate. They don't need anything more to read. They just need the bottom line up front. One of the best things about this proposal format is that it makes it really easy for your prospects to review. There are no long paragraphs. In most cases, there aren't even full sentences for them to review. And so it's going to help you get a response back faster from them versus a document that feels overwhelming and they keep putting it off until they have time to review it. Now, that brings us to the next step in the process. You might be wondering how to send over a proposal to a client. And so before you get started, I highly recommend that you go watch that video next. It's called How to Send a Consulting or Coaching Proposal to a Client. I've dropped the link to that video in the description right below. So go check that out now. And I'll see you there next.